Dealing with emotions in class is extremely important, but you can do it by connecting with any subject in the curriculum. And here I want to look at an example of dealing with emotion in maths. So the OECD has a happiness index for young people, which it has compiled through surveys of young people in many different countries. And here in the European countries, you see that the happiest young people are actually the Austrians. And as you go down at the bottom of the OECD list are young people in Japan and Korea. It's interesting to note that young people in developing countries like Mexico, Colombia, and Costa Rica are much happier than young people in developed countries, and this is an interesting idea to explore. Now, for this activity, I've collected data from the OECD on a range of subjects because the index that I showed you has been calculated on the basis of self-reporting by young people, but I thought it would be interesting to create a more complex index by collecting a range of data and then averaging it. So the data that I've collected here is data on how happy young people in different countries are at school. So that's one indicator of their happiness. Whether you experience bullying at school, that's another indicator of happiness. Whether you smoke and drink alcohol, that's an indicator of unhappiness. Whether you regularly take exercise, which is an indicator of happiness. Whether you have had all your injections, so does that contribute to well-being? Are you happier if you do well in school? There's an index. Are you happier if your house is well built, warm and clean? Are you happier if your house is not overcrowded? And that's an index of how overcrowded houses are. Does it make you unhappy if your family is poor? And finally, does it make you happy if you feel well if your family has money to spend and whether you have pocket money? Now, the idea of this activity, if you were doing it with young people, would be that you would analyze a range of this material. You would get them to adopt individual countries and produce average scores for them so you can produce a league table of it. But you can also, which is what we're going to do in the activity, debate about whether those are good indicators of happiness or unhappiness, and what other ones you would bring. So in a minute, we're going to put you into groups and you will look at the 10 indicators that I've provided for you, decide which are the best, decide any you wouldn't want to use, and think about ones that you would include in order to get a happiness index for young people.